Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to make a quick video on this trimmer here I picked up on the curb. Likely should have left it there. I didn't have a chance to take a look over it on the curb because the traffic was busy, but we're missing a decent amount of components. I figured I'd film what I do to get these things going again, see at least if the power head's useful or not. So we're missing the intake cover and gasket. The plug boot's all tore up. The foam handle there is all deteriorated and falling apart. No debris guard and no head components other than the cup you see there. So we'll get you set up somewhere and we'll try to pull this over with some starting fluid and see if we can get it going and go from there. Okay, so we're just going to pull this over a couple times, see how it sounds, and then we're going to shoot some carb cleaner in there. Turns over fine, seems like it got compression. I think it's trying. It popped off. I think it'll start. Okay, so I think it'll go. It just needs to be gone through a little bit with the carb. And it needs to be cleaned up. So I'll bring you back when I got this thing cleaned up. I'll likely separate the attachment from the power head so it's a little bit easier on my bench. But I'll bring you back then. Okay, so we're inside on my bench, taking a better look at this. There's some covers that are just broken. The lines are hard and brittle, so they're going to have to be replaced. The fuel tank is just full of crap. Alright, so one at a time. Let's get the carb off. We've got a Walbro WT1059. Walbro WT1059. That's how you figure it out and look up your carb kit later on. Let's put that to the side. So we might as well just take this gas tank off so we can clean it a little bit easier.
Should come off. So, yeah, no screw.
Okay. Leaf. I think this one was stored outside for quite a bit of time. And take these back cover off, see if there's any more leaves in there we gotta clean out. Okay, so that one's broken. Only two to remove. So there's a mud dauber nest in the exhaust. Might be hard to see. There it is. So we're gonna have to take that muffler off, clean that out. So the pistons sound to look pretty good. There's not much scoring in there. If there was a lot, I'd probably just stop here, call this a parts machine, but we'll keep going. All right, we're going to attack this muffler first. Hopefully they're not still in here. This muffler is supposed to come apart, I think. Maybe not. Doesn't look removable. I thought these two halves would come apart, but it looks like it's rolled over this inside one, so I don't think we're going to get that out. Let me get a small screwdriver. I'll be back. Okay, so we're just going to try to dig them out this way. This is actually not the first time I've seen these mud wasp nest inside a Homelite exhaust, and that's because they have this hole facing towards the outside, and they just go right in there if you store it outside. That's about as good as we're going to get. Hopefully if we get this thing started and running, it'll just blow everything else out that's loose in there. That's what happened to the other one I was talking about. Okay. You can tell it's been stored outside. Okay, so we're back with the carb here. Oh, it comes off. To see about that sliding out. I don't know. take the purge side off first and see where we're at there with that gasket and diaphragm. Purge bulb isn't too bad a shape, it's discolored. Okay. There's a bunch of crap in there. Screen looks clear. It actually looks like it had a kit put in it fairly recently. The diaphragm's going to need replaced. It's too hard. It's just not going to move the way it needs to pump fuel through. This gasket's just falling apart. Yeah, you can probably hear it. It's just so hard, it's not gonna pump any fuel. All right, I'm gonna bring you back when I get this cleaned off. Spare you guys. All right, so I got that surface cleaned up as best I could. And I did look up what the repair kit was for this carb. I do not have that kit. It's K25WAT. So I will have to order that if I decide to keep going, but I might as well put this back together, clean it up best I can. So I usually just spray these out, leave it sit a little bit like that. Make sure this screen is clear. It looks like it is, and does allow fuel to the other side. Yeah, right here. Let me get a pick tool.
There's a bunch of varnish here.
Choke and throttle move fine. Something you want to check too as you go through this. I'm going to gonna put it together without a gasket because I don't have it until I get that in here. I don't want to lose any parts. I've got a K10 WAT. I'd have to check to see if the diaphragm is the same between. I might be able to use parts of that. It's not crazy dirty. There's crap in there, but I think it'll be fine. And make sure you put these on right too. Okay, so that's put back together until I get the kit in. So I guess we can put the muffler back on, put everything back together. Okay, looking back on the footage, I realized I didn't really have this framed well for you guys to see what I was doing to take this apart. So I'm going to show you a little bit closer. So this is the pumping side. This is where the fuel's drawn up with the purge valve to prime it. And this is the metering side. This is where the pulse from the engine will actually pump fuel through to run the trimmer. So to look at the metering side, you would take these 4 screws off. Now I had already had this taken apart, so all these gaskets are going to look torn up because I had to tear them up to clean up the carb, but this is just for visual purposes here. Okay, so that's how you get your diaphragm and gasket out. And this is your needle and seat here. And you would remove it with that if you needed to replace that. Okay, now so for the primer side, there's just 2 screws here. So you can take off the primer plate and the bulb itself. This one's still pretty pliable, so that could be reused. But you want to open this up and take a look at these flaps. So these look pretty good because these flaps here are still flat. If they're curled up or broken, you'll have to replace this diaphragm, but this one looks good. Alright, we're just going to put this back together. I usually do this if I'm waiting on parts just because I will lose things. So, I'm just going to put this back together. Still think there's mud and stuff in there, but I think it's going to blow out once we get this running. right, I'm gonna take this outside, use some more starting fluid, see if I can get it running longer. I think that bee nest in the muffler was probably stopping it from actually breathing correctly. So we'll give that a shot. Okay, so we're back outside. I put the gas tank on just so it's a little bit easier to handle out here. I'm gonna drop in some 2-cycle mix. We'll see if this starts and runs longer. All right. Okay, so it's a couple days later when I had some time to get back on this. Just looking it over, I think the last clip was me running it for a little bit longer with some 2-cycle mix, and during that run I saw that the spark plug porcelain is cracked, so it would need a spark plug. And I think at this point I'm gonna call it on this one, and it's gonna be the parts. It does run good, it just would need a lot more in parts than would be worth it. I looked up a bunch of these things on a generic website. It'd be about $45 to fix. I think from the carb kit that I have, I think that this metering diaphragm would work. It's about the same. They're both Walbro, but you know, carb kit's like 10 bucks if you buy a single one of them. And I'm not sure if this is just worth it, because you would just need all those other parts. That's about 45 bucks. So I think we'll call it for this. I don't know if you guys want to post your comments below on what do you think I should do. Should I bring it back, or do you agree it's just too far gone? Thanks for watching.